Hey, Austin, do you like SeatGeek?
Yeah.
Well, Austin Guttery, buying tickets online for sports and concerts has been a confusing process for a long time.
You're telling me.
Oh boy, it's always been hard to find the best deal for that gamer show that you want to go to, and none of those older ticket sites want to change that. But you know what? God damn it, SeatGeek is different. They come along and they've created an amazing app and website to make it easier than ever for fans to buy seats and sell tickets and all that fun goodness.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, fuck. What's your personal experience with SeatGeek, Austin?
Well, let me talk about my personal experience not using SeatGeek.
Yeah.
Shit show.
It is.
With SeatGeek, regular show.
Regular show. Better show.
Good show,
it's
even.
Good show.
Great fucking show.
Great goddamn fucking shit show. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. This is a family podcast. Everything about SeatGeek is designed to make life easier for sports and music fans. SeatGeek does all the price comparisons for you by searching multiple ticket sites and ensuring that you get the best possible deal. SeatGeek does all the work, and you save time and money.
Do I?
A little bit, yeah. You do. Best of all, my listeners, our listeners,
our listener,
Super GamesCast 64 listener. I learned that the other day. You don't say it plural, you say it singular because there's only one person listening to the podcast. Right? Exactly.
If we get two, then you can say it.
No, you only say one.
Oh.
Unless there's like two people listening at the same time.
I don't think that could happen.
No, you can't happen. Cannot. Best of all, Super GamesCast 64 listener will get $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. It's in the freaking paper right here.
Okay.
All right. To get your $20 rebate on tickets, download the SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab and select add a promo code. Enter the promo code SUPER. And SeatGeek will send you $20 after you've made your first ticket purchase. Download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code SUPER today. SeatGeek is wild.
Can you spell that for me, Trey?
SUPER.
No. SeatGeek. I'm just a little confused. I'm trying to go to the website.
SeatGeek.
.com?
Yeah, .com.
Thanks, dog. Let's go. Talk about some games, motherfucker.
Hey, welcome to Super GamesCast 64. We're talking about all things video games right here, right now.
Talking about the Duck Dynasty video game?
They have one.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I've played Big Buck Hunter.
Yeah?
With Duck Dynasty on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know like Cabela's is a game.
Yeah.
Mega 64 has an ongoing skit, or they used to, where it was pretty much these like it's the Cabela, the guys who make Cabela.
Yeah.
Like they're pretending to be the guys who make Cabela. They're just a bunch of old rednecks in overalls, and they're like, yeah, Cabela's coming out tonight, and they're like, oh my god, Halo 5's coming out. What? Yeah. It's pretty fun. I guess you have to watch it yourself.
I love Duck Dynasty.
I love Mega 64.
I love Trump.
I love Trump too.
Please kill me.
Kill me. Die.
All right, ready to start?
Yeah, I think, we're starting.
We've started?
We have started, man. This is the banter before the start of the show. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Super GamesCast 64. This is a product of the Blowout Network.
Yes,
that
for
is
now.
All your blowout needs, whether it's IJB, it's just banter, Below the Belt, Drag and Brag, City of Hate, TC's movie podcast, and others, the baseball podcast.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Okay.
Before we start, we are talking about No Man's Sky today, the controversial game by Hello Games that came out last week. So I kind of want to talk about this show as it is right now and kind of give an overview of what we're doing and then look at the future.
Okay.
So what we are doing with this show is we are reviewing video games. Now, like Tim Krajewski actually has his podcast on here as well, The Center Ring, and I want to make sure that's right. I'm not going to look it up because I know I'm right. So what we're doing is we're only having a few podcasts, a year, maybe once a month or twice a month. It's weird because November is usually the big month. And so I'm looking at the schedule right here in front of me of what we got going on. So what we're going to be doing is reviewing a game per podcast. This is the schedule as of now. Battlefield 1 comes out October 21st. We'll probably review that on October 28th. the week of October 28th.
Can I make an addendum?
Sure.
October 21st as well. Civ 5, Civ 6,
Civ 6.
Civilization. One probably top 3 for me.
Yeah.
So we can squeeze that in there maybe.
Yeah, we could totally squeeze that in there.
Cool.
I mean, they're all new games.
Yeah.
October 25th is The Last Guardian, so we will probably review that in November. The Last Guardian, which we might even talk about a little bit in this podcast, because it seems that the hype train with those two games, is very prevalent. This could be the year of the hyped game.
Yeah. Fallout.
Well, Fallout was last year, but I guess it kind of goes into this year.
True.
The weird thing about Fallout, we can get into this later, but the weird thing about Fallout, though, is that it was announced, and then 3 months it came out, and it was still overly hyped.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a weird epidemic, I think.
It's that old internet.
November 4th, we have Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I'm not a big Call of Duty guy. You're not.
Yeah.
I find this game intriguing just because of the space. I like space. It could be also the year of the space game.
Yeah, there's never been a game in space before.
No, there's not. Never.
So I guess we'll review that one.
Yeah. November 18th is Pokemon Sun and Moon. That's November 18th coming out. We'll probably review that November 25th around that time.
Didn't Pokemon already come out? My kids have been playing it for weeks.
Let's not talk about that game anymore. All right? We're done. We don't need to talk about
that.
We buried it. Final Fantasy 15 got delayed, you sons of bitches, and that's coming out in November 30th now. That game's in trouble. The game was supposed to come out the end of September.
Oh.
It got delayed or end of for 2 months. Got delayed 2 months.
Have you ever played a Final Fantasy game?
I played Final Fantasy 10.
Okay.
And I probably have seen my friend play Final Fantasy 6.
You ever played Final Fantasy 13 too?
No. I'm not a Final Fantasy guy, really. I appreciate the series. I think it's an interesting series. I would like to go back one day and play Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 10, but that's a long way away if I ever do that. So I'm interested to see this game because I've been hearing a lot of hype for this game.
That's the theme.
It's the theme.
Put a little train sound effect in there.
Woo woo. Looking for the hype train. The hype train of that game is big. So it'll be interesting to see, especially because it's not a game I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I'm not exactly, I want to play it, but I'm not. This isn't Uncharted 4, where I was anticipating it every single day, and when it came out, I did nothing but play it. I didn't look at anything, spoiler free, all that. This is a game where I'm like, I'm intrigued. I want to play it. I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy, but I'd like to give it a look.
I've never played 1 second, so I may pick it up as my first one and go in with a clean slate.
There you go. But that's going to be November 30th, so December 9th. And then at the end of December, I want to do a year in review, Game of the Year podcast.
Count them down,
where we list our games of the year. We won't do anything like Giant Bombcast does, where they go and do rankings for everything because we're only two men. So we're going to maybe talk about the games we played this year and then what our top 3 favorite games are. Then we can maybe announce Game of the Year for or the blowout Game of the Year, Uncharted 4, and we could make that decision then. Anyway, so a little preview for next year. We got Resident Evil 7 coming out January 24th. So maybe we talk about that in February.
Did you see the movie?
I saw the trailer for the movie when I went to go see Sausage Party.
I saw it on USA Network the other night. You saw Sausage Party?
Yeah.
Was it good?
It was all right. It was good. It was funny. It was very, it was very Seth Rogen-y.
It's too lewd for me. I can't take my kids.
Yeah. No, you probably shouldn't take your kids. There's a reason they call it Sausage Party.
Like a penis.
Like a pangus.
Ooh.
Big old pangus. So we got Horizon Zero Dawn coming out February 28th. This is one of those games I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah.
It's a PS boy, and that's a PS exclusive.
Yeah, we got like 5 PS exclusives on here.
Yeah, we kind of do.
What am I gonna? Do I have to go buy a PS4?
Don't you have a roommate who has one?
Yeah.
Hey, let's room together, and I'll let you borrow mine.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's do it tomorrow.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Anyway, we'll probably mix in some Xbox stuff here. There's 3 Xbox exclusives coming out. I mean, Gears of War is coming out. Gears of War 4, which is pretty big.
Okay, yeah.
All right, here's the deal. If you guys have games that you want to hear about, you want to have us review, email me, email me at trey.mitchell815@gmail.com. Actually, don't email me. Email TC. Send him tweets, tweet him.
He's
see what he
love.
wants.
He's gonna love
this. He's gonna love it. Email me, Austin Guttery. Tweet at us is probably a better thing to do. Is tweet at us. I'm at CrayTreyVids. And you are what?
Don't email me.
Don't email him. What about tweet you?
Yeah, I'm at Helen Smeller.
All right. Just email, tweet at TC. If you have any questions, you want to, anything you want to hear us talk about on the podcast for any of these games, let us know. If you have any suggestions for games coming out, let us know. Probably going to stay away from any kind of sports game, just because it's hard to do.
It's the same every year.
It's the same every year, and I really don't care.
So we're not doing old games? If someone suggests Yoshi's Island,
I would totally review Yoshi's Island.
Me too. Let's do that next week.
Let's do it next week.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's get to it. We're talking about No Man's Sky. Now, this was revealed in 2014 at the Video Game Awards, the VGAs.
Yeah. Yep.
With one Geoff Knightley, Jeff Keighley, presented No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
And the trailer was really fantastic because it started off underwater, and you're a first person. You emerge from if you don't know what No Man's Sky is, check this trailer out. I mean, it's pretty tight, even if you do know what it is. Check the trailer out. It's a really good trailer. It was revealed at VGAs. It was a trailer where a guy emerged from the water, and you see these lush, that look like the beginning of the second Star Trek movie, the red vegetation, and he's walking out, and you see all these dinosaurs, these brontosauruses, these crazy critters running around, and it's lush and it's beautiful. Then he walks to a spaceship and he takes off and he goes up into the atmosphere, and there's big starcrafts fighting each other, and then he goes to another planet and lands on the other planet. And that was the trailer. There was really nothing else mentioned from the trailer. And that was 2013, 2014. So it's 2014. So 2 years after that, we've seen nothing but videos and interviews and just hype for this game. And I had tried to lower my expectations.
So did I.
Going into it. Yeah, you did too. And what is this game? What is this game right now? Like, what exactly is it, Austin Guttery?
I think people were expecting more of an action game, honestly. I think people were expecting, a mix of Halo and Minecraft. And
yes.
It's far more Minecraft than it is Halo, which personally I really like. I like a nice, relaxing, quiet, solitude game.
Yeah.
I can just wander and go at my own pace, and it's not necessarily linear like Halo is. There's always a track you have to follow there. I think people were expecting more just fighting and more action and more involvement, and it's really not that. It's just a lot of moving.
I liked it. I played for about 10 hours, and so did you.
Yeah, I played for about 10 hours, and I liked it as well.
I like it. I think it's a game that I could relax to.
Oh, for sure.
It's not a game where there's
no pressure.
No pressure whatsoever in this game. I think it's a little hollow. That's my thing. And I think the more I kind of meditate on it, think about it, the more problems I see with it.
Same here.
I think, first of all, I think before we even get into this, because there's a lot to get into, is that I enjoyed it. I think it's all right. I think Sony did a terrible job, and they screwed Hello Games the way they marketed it. I think Sean Murray, he seems like a really nice guy. He seems like a very good person. I don't know him personally, but he seems like a good individual. And from podcasts I listen to, people who have met him and interviewed him, he seems like a genuine guy.
He does. He seems like he got in over his head, basically, and then was too far in to either delay this any further or cancel it, and so basically had to panic, put out a fire, and release what they had.
Sure, I think so too.
Not what they promised.
Because there was a whole day one patch that totally changed the game, right? And they added all this stuff. So what would have the game been without that patch? It's interesting to think about. Because they had a whole, they were putting out fires, Sony was, because the game released early, and there was this huge patch that changed the game.
Yeah.
So the whole thing has been just weird.
You almost wish they would take the Zelda route, which is we're not releasing this until it's perfect.
Well,
no matter how long it takes.
Then that game would be out for years.
That's the problem. The game's potential is so enormous that to have the game that we all want would take an entire decade to create, and that would be amazing. But that just doesn't work without a Star Trek-like economy.
And games like No Man's Sky, games like The Last Guardian are going to suffer for waiting 10 years.
Right.
Final Fantasy 15, 10 years. Duke Nukem Forever. That was like a long-ass time. So I think we're talking about hype right now. I think even with Fallout 4 last year was a great thing where they announced it and then they released it 3 months afterwards. And I really liked that game. I know people were lukewarm on that.
I loved it.
I loved it too. I didn't play that much of Fallout 3, and I really dug it. I think people who really loved Fallout 3 didn't really like it because it was kind of more of the same.
Mhm.
And Fallout 3 was such a revolutionary game that it was sort of a meh, in comparison.
Right. And as someone who only played 5 hours of Fallout 3 2 years prior, Fallout 4 was great. It was amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. But, I mean, that still suffered from massive hype. And No Man's Sky, because they're promising... And I listened to an interesting podcast yesterday where I think the reason it got so much hype and the reason, journalists were hyping it up so much is because every single new console iteration... Now, I play this on PS4, you play this on PC.
Yeah.
Every new console iteration, they're always waiting for what is the new thing that, not graphics, but what is the new...
Gimmick.
Not even gimmick, but like new thing where, hey, you can't do this on a PS3. Only PS4 can do this game. You can't do this, PS2. Like, Fallout 4 can work on a PS2. Or Fallout 3 cannot work on PS2. Whereas... take a game like Uncharted 4, that game could be on PS3 if they wanted to.
Yeah.
A little scaled down, but it's the same game. Metal Gear Solid 5, even, they had it on PS2 or PlayStation 3. You could still play it on that.
So many numbers.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers. That would be an interesting topic to talk about, sequels, but So the reason it got so hyped up is because No Man's Sky was presenting something. The reason why we have new consoles, there was like, okay, we have these now because this is something we could do now that we can never do before. This is totally a unique experience, which it sucks that it's gotten such backlash this game has because it's I like new ideas, new iterations of things, and I think video games are better at it than film are, though you could probably argue with me on that. That I think video games can take more risks, especially with the indie scene, than movies can, film can. You see film today, it's remake of Ben-Hur. I mean, everything is so like, we're just going to remake and sequelize. And, that's the same thing with video games. Though I think sequels help video games more than they help movies.
For sure.
Because a sequel you can improve on a game. You can't really improve on a movie.
Right.
Unless like it's a real trilogy.
Because you're still interacting,
yeah.
Basically. Like, even if the sequel is not as good, you're still partaking in the things that make the first one and the second one good. I mean, it's like every time you go play baseball with your friends, it's not like the second and third time you play baseball, it's just, I've done this before, it sucked. It's going to be entertaining every time because you're accomplishing things and you're getting involved, even if it tires out more quickly.
And you can also improve on, stuff from the other games. Like Ubisoft is a thing, like Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2 improved on a lot of Assassin's Creed 1. You can always make, better experiences with the same engine. Look at, Far Cry is really good at that, making spin-offs.
Yeah.
And you can Uncharted's a great example. Uncharted 1's pretty bland.
Mm-hmm.
And then Uncharted 2 was a lot better. And a lot of people, I think, before Uncharted 4 said that was the best Uncharted. Uncharted 3 did a lot with the story, and Uncharted 4 was just wrapped all the good things together and presented it, and it was the best thing ever.
And I think that's the way most games go. You get a new idea out there, people love the concept, but it may not work very well, and then in the second iteration, you fixed everything, you have the great concept and the great gameplay now. I mean, that's... Mm-hmm. Look at most games, Zelda aside, because Zelda 2 was very strange.
It was strange, but you know what? I mean, Majora's Mask was strange. Wind Waker was strange.
Yeah.
Those are classics. Probably the two best Zelda games.
Yeah.
Besides Ocarina. But anyway, where I'm going at is I like new ideas, new concepts.
Same here.
And No Man's Sky was a very new idea, a very new concept, and it excited a lot of people. And I think this backlash at least from the people who were expecting this massive multiplayer, humongous thing. They didn't get it.
I think most of the backlash doesn't necessarily come from the game not being, super filled with content. I think it mostly comes from basically, I don't want to say being deceived by Hello Games and Sean Murray, but essentially that's what happened. They showcased basically a scripted version that wasn't the final game. And, when they brought it on Colbert and brought it on TV and showed it at awards, they knew what was going to happen. They made sure everything that happened was going to look spectacular on there.
The game is all math.
Right.
You when you fly to a planet, and maybe we should even just kind of talk about the game before we even get into all this, because we just sort of like went, head first and all this stuff. The game is you go into a planet and you mine for materials to improve your ship, improve your suit, and it's pretty much just an inventory, simulator game. You go, you mine. It's like Minecraft where you mine for different items. You can craft items, but unlike Minecraft, you can't build anything.
Right.
So you go to a planet. All the planets are kind of the same. All the animals are kind of the same.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of variety. There's not a lot, different from each planet to planet, except for, new colors, schemes on plants, and new variety of animals, which the animals are just, it's all math because it's all, generated. It's all random.
An algorithm for animals, an algorithm for plants, an algorithm for topographical features.
Now, it's cool. I like doing
it's really
it.
Cool.
It's really, really cool. And there are people who are complaining that you're not really flying the ship. Well, I mean, it feels like you are.
You're, well, yeah. Like when you're playing Halo, you're not actually in a spacesuit shooting.
No.
I don't know what their complaint is.
There's nothing cooler than, taking off from a planet, flying to another planet, and kind of landing.
That's a good place to start. What are the things you really liked about the game? And that may be my number one thing, is how seamless everything is.
Yes.
Typically with space game, this is everyone's space game dream finally realized for the most part.
Yeah.
It's because old space games, you get in your ship, you take off, there's a loading screen, and then you wait 2 minutes, and it loads you, and you're on a new planet or you're in space, whatever. This is badass because
it's
you
really
basically
cool.
It's so seamless, and you get in your ship and you go upward and you take off and you can fly forward. You can fly straight out of the atmosphere, straight into space. There's no loading. There's no screens or anything. It's all just completely there, and that's the coolest part. Just getting up, I feel like going to this other planet. You just fly off, you go to the next one, and you're there, and you can run back to the other one. It doesn't take you out of it like a loading screen would.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I like the discovery aspect, like going into a cave.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, you're not going that fast. Your inventory, I think the biggest problem people have is you just don't have a lot of inventory space. So it's a lot of just, dealing with that. It's a lot of, making sure you got the right thing so you can upgrade, your ship and your suit and stuff like that. None of that really even matters.
Right.
I mean, it's because a lot of it feels kind of hollow, whereas the Centurions, they come, but you can just go into a building, and the buildings don't look that great. Everything kind of looks very, generic sci-fi.
There's only one building.
There
really
is one building, yeah.
Well, there's the small one, and then there's
the big one.
The big one with the 3 rooms.
And there's the AI doesn't interact with each other. The aliens don't. It's very bare bones as far as all that. And then I guess they could patch it. They like, okay, hey, we're adding in new things here. We're new things here. But I mean, that's not really a good excuse to use.
Right.
I think the thing that's going for this game is if you want something where you're flying in space, you land, you go explore, you see some cool things, that's perfect. It's perfect for that. If you want like a game that has in-depth mechanics, an in-depth system, a good story, I guess there is a little bit of a story in there. If you want something like that, it's not the game for you. Definitely not.
Well, have we even mentioned the end goal, basically?
Get to the center of the universe.
Yeah, you find clues that kind of pull you to different stars, and you try to work your way towards the center of the universe, and there's something there. I don't know. I mean, it almost feels like an excuse. Like, it's like, hey, you can't do this without some sort of plot or end goal, and they threw this together at the last second. It was like, center of the galaxy.
Yeah, which, it just feels very hollow. Like, you go to the space station, it's just empty, and there's ships, but they're not
even moving.
No, it just, and all the AI it almost makes you feel even more lonely because
it's super lonely.
Yeah, it's very empty.
Yeah.
All the planets are very empty. All the the ships are just very not even generic, but it just feels very hollow.
Yeah, because like the ships all look cool and everything, the planets look cool and everything. They just don't do much. You can tell they're computer programs.
Yeah,
like the ships are exactly the same. Not physically. They all look different. They look cool. They don't do anything different.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one of the things that was promised was different classes of ships.
Yeah, and different factions, and you could fight on one side of the faction, and then you got a warrant. They even said Grand Theft Auto, like where you got like this faction, now you're wanted by these ships and they'll attack you. Like none of that stuff is true.
The game is spread very thin. It's a incredible idea.
And I've even heard like, I'm sorry, go on. I keep interrupting.
No, it's fine. It's an incredible idea that on a small, non-procedurally infinite game, like in a contained game, you could spread that, pretty thick and have a great game, but they had to spread this over basically an infinite canvas, and it spreads it really thin, and you can see through. And I'm enjoying the game tremendously, but I've never played a game and been able to see the boredom and redundancy and repetitiveness coming up at me so clearly. I can tell pretty soon I'm going to be tired of it because you do the same thing on every planet.
So yeah, I think the prospect of an infinite universe kind of makes things meaningless. Whereas you're saying you're bored. I feel the same way. I feel like, what am I really working towards here?
Yeah, it's like how the old adage about how creativity works better with boundaries. And when you basically have an unlimited universe, but a finite amount of things to do and collect and see, it makes it really sparse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You never, quote, the center of the galaxy is your goal, but who really cares? You're not going through a story that you feel is
like, why are you trying to get to the center of the universe? Just because they said?
Yeah, that's what they said. And it's not like anything changes up as you get to the end game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're playing with friends or there's some kind of like because it's a whole bunch of different games. I've heard a lot of Destiny talk when people talk about this game. They talk about Destiny, how when it first came out, it was very empty, like this game. But they added things on and on again. But with Destiny, you're playing with friends. It's multiplayer. I'm not a big multiplayer guy, but I see the appeal definitely, and I see the appeal of a countless loop, a gameplay loop where you're just and that's a fun gameplay loop. Where this gameplay loop, it's a lot of, oh my god, I need to get some money to upgrade this, the ship, and okay, so I'll get all these minerals. Now I don't have enough minerals, and then so you go sell stuff at a space station. You don't get that much money back, and it's a lot of inventory management. It's a lot of, I'm going to go to this building because I know they have, this an extra inventory slot. It's just the gameplay loop isn't fun. The reason Minecraft was fun is because you could build things. You can make huge monuments. You can make, secret tunnels and stuff like that. Also, Minecraft started out as a beta. Everything starts out as a beta, but it started off as, a beta on Steam, and it was word of mouth. It wasn't this big marketing campaign. Whereas this was a big marketing campaign for something that seems like a smaller game. And I'm not one of those people. I've seen people say this is like a $7, game on Steam. No, there was a lot of work put into this game.
Yeah.
There is a lot of, it was a 15-person studio, and they worked their asses off to make a game. Making video games is difficult. We can't pretend like we know what goes into it. I feel like I know what goes into a film production. I don't know everything that goes through a film production, but if someone was like, Trey, what goes into making a film? I could tell you probably a very bare bones idea what goes into making a film. I can't tell you what goes into making a game. I can't tell you the whole process. There's probably crazy amounts of stuff you have to do. I can't tell you how to write a video game. I can't tell you how to do all that stuff. So it's a lot of work. I'm not saying at all that should disregard any kind of criticism to it, because that's not how it works. That's not how art works. Everything should be criticized. And you know what? The criticism is justified because this game has a lot of problems. I don't like the vitriol on Reddit, on Twitter, that post that we were talking about earlier. There's a post on Reddit. You want to explain it a little more?
Yeah,
you read through it.
It's a guy who basically went through all the stuff that was essentially promised and showcased and talked about by Sean Murray and other employees on YouTube, on talk shows, at award shows, at E3. And then
that's 2 years of interviews.
So he goes through and basically marks down all these things that were promised and shown even in, I don't want to say gameplay demonstrations because it sounds like this was a self-contained like fake game almost for show. So it shows all those things and then he compares them or contrasts them to how none of these things are in the game. So all the things that were promised and left out, he goes through and he breaks them down by gameplay elements, NPC interactions, planets and stars, ships and flight, trade routes, and each category has, 4 or 5 different things with specific linked examples to Sean Murray talking about, oh yeah, this will definitely be in here, yeah, this will be here, yeah, you can do this, and explaining how none of that stuff is in the game, and if it is, it's a completely castrated version.
Yeah. There's a funny video on YouTube. You can look it up. It's also on, now every social media has a video, component. You could easily find it. It's going to be, but it's the first gameplay trailer where you're emerging from the water and you see all these brontosauruses and all these like animals running around. It looks beautiful. And they have the Jurassic Park theme playing, and then, right as the theme starts crescendoing, it shows the actual game. It's this like planet that looks very desolate, very brown, and this dinosaur that's like a T-Rex body, but it's like
not working very well.
No, it's not working. It's clipping into the environment. And it's walking around all weird, and it's really funny. But that's what you get with this game. It's not the game that was shown. And I think I remember them saying that, yeah, we altered a few things so we would get this, but it doesn't seem like there's any. Now, I've only gone through I've not gone through that much. I'm only in the second, I guess, solar system.
Oh, really? I think I'm on my third, fourth, maybe.
I think I got the booster a little later than I expected. I thought I had to do more things.
The warp drive?
Yeah, the warp drive. I thought I had to do more things to upgrade it. I wasn't really following the path. But I got that. Then I'm in the second system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. But from what I've heard, it seems like people who have gotten farther, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's not really much variety. It's not like it's not like the creatures are getting bigger, the vegetation's getting more. It's just more of the same. And the animals are a little more hostile.
Yeah.
And, you get raided by pirates. And have you been in a space fight at all yet?
Yeah, I went to one planet.
Yeah.
Actually named now I did this back when
we actually
glossed
over the best part of the whole freaking game.
You get to name and log all these procedurally generated planets and animals and plants and things.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of Harambe named planets because you can see what other people have named planets and you can visit them. And there's a lot of Harambe planets and
yeah,
the joke's pretty much.
We can talk about the controversy on that, but yeah, let's kind of get into that.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, this podcast is all over the place. I apologize if you're still listening right now. I think it's a game we both were looking forward to, and so we're just kind of all over the place. But I appreciate you listening to this.
I'm excited and also agitated
at
the same time, and so it's this mix of emotions that I don't know what to do with.
Yeah, but anyway, you're talking about the planets, I guess, the naming the planets.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, okay, a hostile planet. Yeah.
So, no, naming them. Harambe and stuff.
Yeah, so you can name all the planets and everything, and so I wanted to honor my 2 favorite animals. And this was back when Harambe jokes were not beaten to the ground.
A week ago?
Yeah, and because you can name the solar system and then the accompanying planets.
Mm-hmm.
And I named, I had Dix Out 4 was the system, and I have Harambe and Cecil to honor them.
I screwed up. My system, I was going to name the system the Ticket, and I went TI, and then I actually pressed, I think it was the circle, and then that saved. And you can't redo it.
Yeah.
It just saves, which
it
sucks.
Uploads.
Yeah. And so now it's the T, and so I named one planet 1310 the Ticket. I named a planet Harambe. I named one planet Ragonk. I named a planet, I think, like Doo-Doo, like Captain Doo-Doo. I named a planet Captain Doo-Doo. So I've been doing a lot of ticket shtick with my planets.
Same here. I
Yeah.
was on a planet where there was severe, like toxic air
Mm-hmm.
and radiation, and so obviously that's Dunham.
Yeah, Dunham Manor.
Yeah, and I've been trying to get a few more ticket ones in there. I find a lot of Chinese people on one of the planets. We got a Ha Chikapatabu Tahinana. If that'll fit. I haven't hit the character limit yet, so it could be huge.
I haven't seen any found planets yet. I guess we're kind of early into the game. I haven't really seen anything yet. I hear though it's not, because the game's not online at all. Like, it's not an online game.
I've discovered stuff. When I first warped, the first star system I went to had already been, not went to, but noticed on the map had already been discovered.
Okay.
And but after that, it's just been totally undiscovered. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I think is the most fucked up part on Hello Games.
Yeah, that
is the
yeah.
oh yeah, I don't think you'll ever run into anyone because it's so big. Basically lying, just knowing that they're not going to implement any sort of multiplayer in it, and
that's what Tim Krajewski said. Like, you are really not, you don't know, you're really underestimating the internet if you say that, oh yeah, it's going to be very improbable.
Yeah,
you're really underestimating people online.
Because they had two guys on Reddit the first day it came out.
Yeah.
Both went to the same planet, both in the same spot, and could not see each other.
Right.
And one of them was in nighttime, the other one was in daytime on the planet. So it's almost like there's a shared server, but it's not live.
It's, what I think it is it's a server and you upload a planet, but the planet might look different to you than like you might go to Ragonk and it might be different day, different,
right,
things in there.
And they were even in the same like space little station on the ground, and they were in the same room and they couldn't see each other. So and that would be fine if they would just be like, yeah, there's no multiplayer. I mean, it'd be fucked up that they lied in the first place, but they
did say there's no multiplayer. They said like the week of, like he's like Schumer's like, this is not a multiplayer game. But he kept selling that you would be able to see people the whole time.
Yeah, and so now when this happened, they're just like, oh, wow, I didn't think two people would meet each other already.
Yeah. So, I mean, this game has potential for patching. It has potential for adding things. But like I said earlier, that's not really an excuse.
Right, and, this could be something that they build for the next 5 years.
This could be an entirely different game next year.
It could be great. And, they could patch. I mean, that's what Minecraft does. They come out with 2 new major releases every year, and there's tons of new features, tons of new blocks, tons of new crafting recipes, and the game builds. And, the game that I played 4 years ago is not even close. Well, it's close, but it's a lot different than the game you play today, and it was great back then, and it's great now because they listen to the community and they add stuff throughout. And No Man's Sky has so much, I think, potential to it that if they were able to do that, I think we could have a great game in a few years.
Yeah.
But right now, it's a lot of fun, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, but it's going to end very soon.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've already been playing other things. I've been trying to get my backlog.
I've been spanking it a lot.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Metal Gear,
Yeah?
Yeah, a little Metal Gear 3, trying to get, play that and beat that the other night.
Play the first 2?
Oh, yeah, I've already played the first 2.
Okay.
Definitely. So what was the thing you were talking about, the hostile planet? I know we're kind of jumping around.
Yeah, so one of the planets, the Harambe planet, when you first land, it gives you a readout. It'll say, like, air, and then it'll say either, like, toxic, really cold,
that I've not, it says that, but it's never affected me.
Yeah, because your thermal protection doesn't fall quickly enough for it to really affect you. I was on one that was very irradiated, and it drained my life support pretty quickly, but still, there's plutonium everywhere, and so...
There's so many elements that really exploration after a while there's really no exploration. Because,
you can find everything you need on one planet.
One area. And you can't really go that far away from your ship because you walk very slow, and you have a boost, but you got stamina. You got to make sure your stamina doesn't run out. So it's a lot of alternating between running and boosting.
Have you used the melee exploit?
I have not, no.
If you hit the melee button and then immediately hit the jetpack button, you'll fly forward at the speed that you would jetpack, and it may only be PC.
Okay.
But that's basically how I've been getting around, and it's
PC Master
a lot easier.
You see, that would be a game to just, using just cheats and stuff like that with PC would be great.
Yeah. So this planet, basically when you land, it gives you the readout, and it'll list like the weather, how many animals, how many plants there are, and then it'll say sentinels, and it'll say like hostile or like they're not around. And so this planet I landed on was super hostile because there's rare shit everywhere. There's these
nuts.
There's these nuts.
Yeah.
Basically, there's these like balls basically around called gravitino beads or something.
Oh yeah. I need
and
some of
they're
those.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's rare elements everywhere. But the second you land, basically you're detected, and swarms of them will come after you. And it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I almost died a few times, and I had to take shelter and fight off these guys as I was trying to collect elements. And then I flew into space, and they followed me, and I flew around and had a dogfight, and it was pretty fun. But that's only happened really one time.
How would you fix this game?
I've seen some good suggestions, and one thing I've really been wanting is like the appeal. I know we keep comparing this to Minecraft, but it's essentially the same.
Yeah, it's crafting,
concept,
it's mining and crafting, and it's generated, universes and generated places, and I don't even understand how they do, because there's so many quintillion planets. I guess the galaxy is just sort of like it's a blank slate, and once you visit it, it just generates, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, one of the bad things about No Man's Sky is you don't really feel for anything. Every planet seems the same. You don't have any connection to anything. One of the good things about Minecraft is you get there, you immediately build a house to protect yourself, and you come to feel for that house. Oh, this is my home spot. I'll always be returning here. I love this spot. I want to defend it. No matter how far out I adventure, I always have a place to go back to. And I think No Man's Sky needs something like that. I think you need to be able to land somewhere and be able to post up for a while.
Yeah.
Because I find myself getting to a planet, landing, finding what I need, maybe finding a new ship, taking off, and leaving.
Who cares,
and I don't care about that planet ever again. But there should be some sort of
I don't think you
world.
can even get back, because I tried to get back to my last system. I couldn't even find it.
It's difficult, but it's frustrating, but it's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear they're making base building, which I agree. Yeah, that's a good point about Minecraft, is that you do feel like you're at home. You feel like you got a little base. And I don't really play, when I play Minecraft, I usually play creative mode. But yeah, it's you feel attached to that thing.
Yeah, it has character. And nothing in No Man's Sky has character, not even the characters.
No, and it's very sterile, the whole thing. I think that was the word I was trying to go for. Not generic, but sterile. It just feels, the big space stations are sterile.
And I guess if
the planets are sterile.
If you're going for a realistic feel, then space is going to be empty and sterile and cold and similar, but that doesn't necessarily make for a good gameplay experience.
And there's really not much in space either. There's no reason to stay in space,
there's nothing cool. Like, that would be one of the coolest parts if docking at those giant ships or flying with them or something was there, but there's not. They warp there, they sit there, and they don't do anything. You can steal from them, but then you get killed.
Yeah.
Space is really just to fly from planet to planet. Look at Wind Waker. One of my favorite I know a lot of people didn't like it, but one of my favorite parts.
That's my favorite, probably my favorite Zelda game.
Well, no, I mean, everyone loved the game, but
Oh,
one of my favorite parts. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the sailing.
The music made the sailing.
I
loved it. Yeah, I loved it too.
The sailing was great because there was always something popping up or surprising you, or an island you hadn't discovered coming up, and there was always something visiting you, even if it was something as minor as the seagulls that would follow you.
Mm-hmm.
It felt,
or the fishes.
Yeah, it felt realistic, and it felt alive, and it felt like part of the game. Like, oh, I don't know what could be, coming up real soon if I keep sailing. But in No Man's Sky, it's I got a planet to the left, I have one to the right. If I fly forward, too far, the game will crash. That was another thing.
I hear the PC is like really bad running.
The release was real bad.
Yeah.
It's been running fine on mine. It won't work on my laptop because I didn't do enough reading, and apparently it doesn't work with Intel.
Yeah,
and so luckily I just built a new
computer.
My first ever computer I built. A friend, Nick Croker, shout out. He helped me build it, and luckily it runs the game fine and boots up super quick. There's no it'll say No Man's Sky for a second, and you just go straight into it.
Yeah.
There's no loading or menus or anything, and it's nice. But, there's no character.
No character at all. Yeah, so if you're listening, you have no clue what we're talking about, no clue about anything we've been saying the last 51 minutes.
Does that include our 3-minute promo?
That does include the 3-minute promo.
Cool.
So pretty much, I would recommend this game if you kind of want something where you can fly, something that's very relaxing. It doesn't really have that much depth into it. If you just want to, go from planet to planet, see some cool animals, see some cool mountains, or see some cool vistas, and then fly to another planet. And I think it's a pretty good. Like Mark from the local ticket, asked me if he should buy it. I'm like, yeah, I think you could get into it because I don't think there's a very large learning curve. A lot of those like crafting games I'm not great at because I feel like I got to write everything down. But I feel like the learning curve is pretty good after you get used to it.
Yeah, the controls are pretty intuitive. Everything's I guess you're on PlayStation.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, like you said earlier, this is a $7 game maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't mind paying the $60 price. I mean, I've gotten 10 really good hours of entertainment out of it. I could see myself getting maybe 10 more out of it, and that's what, the price of 5 movies, and that's the length of 5 movies.
Or going out to the bars for one night. That's the thing, is people complain about the $60 price tag. Now, that is a lot of money, and I don't always like spending $60 on things. I spent $60 on that new Star Fox. I returned it because I didn't want to learn the controls. I was like, you know what, I don't feel like spending the time to learn the controls. I could just go play Star Fox 64 again. No thanks, and returned it. But $60, it's weird because I get that way too. And even with like games that are $30 now, I'll be like, should I spend that much money on that?
Yeah.
But you go out to a bar one night, you spend $100, on drinks. So it's very interesting on what we value, and it's and it's a whole other discussion on video game prices and why are video games so expensive? Well, it's because they have to please GameSpot and all these other, brick and mortar stores with the physical releases. And then it goes into the whole digital future and how closer are we to everything being digital. And that will bring down the prices, hopefully. It might bring up the prices. Look at something like Witcher. That, I bet you, Witcher 3, they could probably sell that for $100 if they wanted to, because there's so much content and it's good content. This game, I could see it being a $40 game.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Yeah.
That's an easy buy if this is $40.
Oh, yeah.
That's a for sure.
I think the $60 price tag is warding off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like a $60 game.
I would say for this is definitely a rental. Like, you're going to have a lot of fun with this for 2 weeks maybe.
Now people love it. I mean, there are people who are nonstop playing this. And the story with Mark from the local ticket, Mark Steckman, I'm butchering his name. He's going to be pissed off if he ever listens to this. He said that, it was just what he wanted. It was just what he needed. And so some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it. And I think if you like games with a lot of mechanics and a lot of, in-depth gameplay and multiplayer and play with your friends, you're going to hate it.
Yeah.
If you want something, you're just like, hey, you know what? It's 9:00. I'll play something for, 30 minutes to an hour and just relax. It's perfect for that.
It's perfect for people like Mark, and it's not perfect for people like Mike Soroy.
You didn't like it? Has he played it?
Well, no, he hasn't played it yet, but he and I talk about games quite a bit, and he and I have very different play styles. I like a offline, single-player, story-driven...
You and me are kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like a nice, basically interactive, very long movie.
Yeah.
With a story where
Metal Gear is perfect. Yes. And Uncharted.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike likes... there's nothing wrong with these. Like, I love like Halo, Arena, and...
Overwatch.
Yeah, Overwatch and Rocket League and stuff. That's what Mike's focus is. He doesn't care about story necessarily, doesn't care about offline. That'll tire him out or bore him quickly. He likes fast pace, basically stuff that takes place in rounds, or sets of games, basically. And this is not a game for people like that.
Yeah. That's the beauty with video games, that you can have all that, and there's nothing wrong with there's more people who probably like that more than, that's why Call of Duty is so popular and Madden's so popular, is because you got people who you don't have time for a whole 20-hour story. You just want to play some video games, just play some games. Well, so I think do you have anything else to say? Any closing words, closing arguments?
No, just kind of. I guess that sigh really sums up how I feel.
Yeah. Just
kind of like everything was there, and then it just kind of wasn't. And
I have no really inkling to kind of go back to it. I wanted to do it, for doing the podcast, but I just didn't do it. I'm like, I think I have enough to talk about.
I'll still play it probably for another week.
Yeah.
I was playing it right before I came over here, and I was having fun. Like, I just picked up my first new ship and was looking for new stuff to take off with, and it'll be fun for a bit. And I guess the end goal of a game is for me to be entertained. Doesn't matter if it was good or not. I mean, like, you look at like Requiem for a Dream is a very good movie,
Mhm.
and I was entertained. Jackass the movie is not a good movie, but I was just as entertained with that.
Yeah.
And so in the end, I've still gotten my money's worth, and I feel like I'm getting that with No Man's Sky. The game may not be that great, but I've been very entertained so far, and will continue to be entertained for a bit.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. I feel like I've played maybe 10 hours, and I enjoyed what I played. I'll probably go back in a bit and, play around with it some more, but I have no inclination of, working towards anything or, trying to build things to get to the end game. It's just something like, I might pick it up again and play a little bit. But yeah, I don't feel bad about spending the money on this. I feel like
Same
it's a
here.
good game that got way overhyped. Sony didn't do it any favors overhyping it.
Mm-hmm.
They got over their head. It's a good game. People are going to be jerks about it, but they're in the right, to criticize it. And I hope this doesn't stunt any kind of creativity.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope this game becomes some amazing thing in the next year.
Same here.
I hope that Hello Games makes another game in the future.
Yep.
I think they're going to make a lot of money off this either way.
I think
So
they
yeah,
already have.
yeah, they have. So yeah, that's No Man's Sky. If you have any comments on No Man's Sky or New Man's Sky, please send me or Austin Guttery a tweet or an email. Maybe a tweet's better just because it's all there. No one uses email anymore.
Dude,
Sadu. Oh, dude, those guys were saying Sadu a lot in that podcast over there.
Oh, for sure.
You want to tell them the story, or you want to get out of here?
Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. So yeah, I'm Trey Mitchell. You can follow me on Twitter at CrayTrey1310. This is Austin Guttery.
Follow me at Helen Smeller.
So unless things change, our next podcast might not be till the last week of October because that's Battlefield 1. That's the battlefield where it's World War I.
Yep.
Unless things change.
Maybe we can squeeze Yoshi's Story in September.
I'd love to do. Isn't it like the 25th anniversary of N64 or something this year?
20th.
Oh my God. We need to do something for that.
I'm going to go get Yoshi's Story on Virtual Console, and I'll play it, and then we'll report back.
We'll review. We'll pretend we're going to do a Battlefield 1
Perfect.
podcast, but we'll actually talk about Yoshi's Story.
Coming tomorrow, Yoshi's Story podcast.
The Yoshi Story podcast coming to you soon.
I'm sorry, I meant Yoshi's Island.
Oh, not Yoshi's Story? Yoshi's Island. Okay.
Wait,
Yoshi's Island is the SNES one. Yoshi's Story is the N64.
Yoshi's Story, yeah.
Yoshi's Story is N64.
Cool.
That's the...
We sound good. Bum.